Hello, it is so wonderful to have you here. Tonight we will continue the story of Noah Merrick in the Lighthouse Diaries series. If you haven't heard the previous episodes, go to our channel to take it from the start. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the newest episodes once they are released. And now, let's get into the story. The Lighthouse Diaries, Chapter 5, Letters in the Storm. The sea has been restless all week. The swells roll in from the south, heavy and unhurried, like thoughts that won't stop repeating. Even the gulls have gone inland. The lighthouse creaks with each gust, and the air tastes of iron. It's the kind of weather that feels like a warning rather than a season. Mara would say it's just autumn coming early, but the foghorn started moaning on its own last night, even though I hadn't switched it on. That's not autumn. I still keep the routines: lamp check at dawn, oil gauge, weather reading, journal entry. The tasks give shape to the hours, like ribs to a body. But lately the pages of the logbook blur together. Sometimes the ink dries in unfamiliar handwriting. I tell myself it's the humidity. The letters, the bottles, have stopped arriving for 3 days. I should be relieved. Instead, I find myself scanning the shoreline every morning, half hoping for glass glinting among the stones. Last night, before the fog rolled in, I caught myself talking to the sea. Not words exactly, just the shape of them. The pause where language belongs. The tide answered with a rhythm that felt conversational. Around noon, the radio crackled. That hasn't happened in months. Static mostly, the kind that comes from lightning far away. But under the static was a faint voice, layered, like two people speaking at once. It said my name, slowly, carefully. Noah Merrick. Then silence, so sudden it felt like a door closing. When I checked the generator, everything was normal, but the journal on the desk was open to a new page. The paper smelled of ozone, and there were words written in charcoal grey strokes. If the sea calls, let it through. The handwriting wasn't mine. It wasn't M's either. It looked hurried, panicked. By afternoon, the sky had gone the colour of slate. Wind pressed against the tower with the weight of a living thing. The beam cut through sheets of rain so dense it looked solid. For hours, thunder walked the horizon. The glass trembled. Every time lightning flashed, the reflection in the window lagged half a heartbeat behind me. At some point, the power flickered. The light dimmed, brightened, dimmed again. Then the bottles started to rattle. They tapped against the window in time with the gusts, and something inside them glowed faintly, as if the ink of the letters had remembered how to burn. I tried to ignore it. I sat at the desk, writing down numbers that didn't matter, pretending the air wasn't humming. But the humming turned into a tone, low, constant, and warm. It came from the hatch. I told myself I wouldn't open it again. But rules dissolve quickly in isolation. When I pulled the bolts free, the air that came up was hot. Steam drifted out like breath in winter. Beneath, the water churned against stone, glowing faintly green. Lightning flashed outside, and for an instant, the entire chamber below lit up like a lantern. On the wall, I saw writing that hadn't been there before. Spiral patterns, yes, but words too, smeared and dripping, as though drawn with seawater. Elias left the door open. I blinked, and the letters were gone. It came just after midnight. 3 knocks, deliberate, against the metal door at the base of the tower. No one should be out there, not in that weather, not this far out on the rocks. I went down anyway. The hinges groaned when I opened the door. Rain slanted in sideways, needling my face. At the threshold stood a single bottle, upright, held there by wind and will. Its glass was darker than the others, almost black. Inside, the paper was dry. Noah, you dimmed the light. The sea found you. Do not open the hatch when the air sings. Wait for the calm after. The throat remembers hunger. M. The last line looked smeared, as though written while the ink was still underwater. The radio woke on its own again, hissing like a storm trapped inside. Between the static, a man's voice, deep and tired. Greyhaven to station. Copy. Anyone alive up there? I grabbed the receiver, heart hammering. This is Greyhaven. Keeper Merrick speaking. Who is this? Silence. Then a breath. Then, Elias Havergreen, reporting fog density 2, light operational, over. The voice was calm, measured, too calm. Elias. Keep the light half. She knows your name now. The line went dead. The next lightning strike hit close enough to shake the tower. The beam went dark. The hum of the generator stuttered and fell silent. I lit the emergency lantern. Its circle of light felt thin, like paper held over flame. Rain drummed against the glass above. Without the light, the sea looked wrong. Too close, too deliberate. I could see shapes moving under the surface, as though the water itself was rearranging. And then, faintly, the sound of knocking, not on the door this time, but from inside the walls. The voice came softly, between gusts. Noah. 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 This time I didn't mistake it for the wind. It carried rhythm, intent. I followed it to the hatch. The bolts pulsed faintly with heat. The air above the seam shimmered. I crouched beside it, the lantern trembling in my hand. "What do you want?" The answer came as vibration through the floorboards. "Light." "I can't. The power's gone." Another pulse. Heavier. "Yours will too." For a moment I didn't understand. Then the lantern dimmed, flickered, died, drawn empty by the air itself. The dark was absolute. I don't remember opening the hatch. I only remember the rush of wind that came up, not down. The storm pouring into the lighthouse instead of around it. I heard the sea filling the lower chamber. Then silence, then something climbing the ladder. Not footsteps, more like water taking shape. I retreated until my back hit the wall. The glow rose from the opening, pale and green, moving like breath. Within it, a figure half seen, shoulders, head, the impression of a man built from light and tide. "Elias?" The figure tilted as though listening, then spoke in two voices, one mine, one not. "Half light, half life. You kept the bargain." Then it stepped forward, and the glow folded back into air. Only the sound of rain remained. When dawn came, the storm had gone as if erased. The sky clear, the air tasting of salt and metal. The beam turned again, steady, flawless, as though the generator had never failed. The bottles on the windowsill were gone, every one. In their place, a single new bottle sat on the desk. the glass pale green, the cork sealed in wax. Inside was a folded scrap of map paper. The same pattern of spirals, but now completed. At the center, written in neat script. Thank you for keeping the light. E.H. The paper smelt faintly of smoke and brine. I placed it beside the journal, unsure whether to feel haunted or absolved. Outside, the tide was lower than I'd ever seen it. The rocks gleamed, clean and bare. Closing entry. Storm duration 7 hours. Structural damage minimal. Generator restored. New correspondence received. Signature EH. No sign of M. I can't tell whether this is ending or beginning again. The sea looks calm, but calm has never meant safe here. If the throat breathes again, I'll be ready to answer. To be continued. Join me next week here at the Midnight Vale to hear the next episode of Noah Merrick's story. Good night and welcome to the Vale.